Sunday morning in late October every year, New York becomes a very special place. Hearts beat a little faster. Hot dog vendors are up a little earlier. This is the day 2,000 police officers closed 300 intersections around the city. A day when 2.5 million spectators will line 26 miles of the city's streets. A day when the training is over and the excuses run out. This is a day of courage and defeat and triumph. This is the day they run the New York City Marathon. The New York City Marathon has grown from a small race around Central Park to a 5-borough race involving most of the world's best marathoners. The race has become so popular that race director Fred Lebeau has been forced to limit the field to 14,000 runners. 15,000 entries were rejected. Entries have also been rejected from individuals wanting to compete on roller skates, a unicycle, a skateboard, and a pogo stick. For this race, the New York Roadrunners Club does things big. In most races, a starting gun suffices. Here, it's a 75mm howitzer. They paint a long blue line so you won't get lost or miss any potholes. And they invite the elite runners of the world. Bill Rogers is going for his 4th victory after winning in 1976, 77, and 78. Some of our film footage is from those years. Olympic champion Frank Shorter should challenge Bill. Kenny Moore, 2 times an Olympic marathoner. A man with a strong ability to run fast. Kenny should be among the leaders. In the women's division, world record holder Greta Waitz from Norway will be defending her title. Here at the New York City Marathon, our cross-country adventure would begin, especially if Leon and Todd can get Melody's legs to be the same length. Leon and Todd have run several marathons. Leon with a best time of 2 hours, 31 minutes. Todd with a best time of 2 hours, 36. This will be Melody's first marathon attempt. Leon and Todd will try to pace Melody to the finish line in Central Park.
My plans are to follow his little yellow skirt. Red now. Just hang in there and have a good time.
Just really enjoy it. Look around, take it easy, run with Melody and Todd.
Well, I think it's going to be a great way to see New York. I want to see Brooklyn, go through all the areas with a smile on my face, and if my legs, if I can feel good the whole way, that's my goal. And to finish. I want to finish.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be ugly, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
The marathon will take the runners from Staten Island through Queens, Brooklyn, the Bronx, and end up in Manhattan. Manhattan, where the day before, at least 3 of the runners were tourists.
In the heart of little old New York, you'll find a thoroughfare. It's the part of little old New York that runs into Times Square. A crazy quill stack, Wall Street, Jacksonville. If you've got a little time to spare, I'd like to take you there. Come and meet those dancing feet. On the avenue, I'm taking you to 42nd.
New York has always been a sports town. This 1934 walking race went from City Hall to Coney Island. Marathons were held in New York as early as 1896. On May 8, 1909, no less than 3 marathons were being held in the city. The biggest race of that day was a professional marathon at the Polo Grounds with a prize of $10,000. The course consisted of running a 300-yard loop 157 times. Back in those days, the crowd stood by and cheered. Now they're in the streets.
Come and meet those dancing feet. On the avenue, I'm taking you to 42nd Street. Here's a beat of dancing feet.
At the finish line, a huge staff of volunteers awaits 11,500 runners. Joe Kleineman of the New York Roadrunners Club was a running star in the 30s.
The idea in the New York Marathon, we have what is known a first come, first serve. I am the registrar of it. Actually, we sent out something like 40,000 applications. We got back about 30,000, and we had to refuse at least 15,000.
I'm working because, well, I found out they needed volunteers, and I'm a nurse, and I have some friends running in it.
Well, I wanted to be part of the marathon. If I couldn't run it, I thought this was the best way to do it. It's exciting time here, I think. And we have to
very warm.
Well, we have to make sure they get out of here fast enough so that they don't lie down here.
Plus, all of them are going through here. That's a lot of pay.
In the 10th New York City Marathon, women comprise about 12% of the field. The youngest runner is 9 years old, and the oldest is 80-year-old Noel Johnson. The race is remarkably well organized by the New York Roadrunners Club. They schedule almost 300 running events a year, and for this race they have secured over 2,400 volunteers. The runners here are primarily in their 30s. For most of them, winning won't matter. Getting to the finish line will be an accomplishment in and of itself. It is estimated that the peak finishing time will be just under 4 hours, when about 170 runners per minute will cross the finish line. Out on the course, there are 20... Meanwhile, out front, another chapter is being written in the story of a running legend. The legend grew 7 months earlier, in a race which begins its 26 miles in Hopkinton, Massachusetts, a race called the Boston Marathon. A man called King of the Road. Bill Rogers, here shown pulling away in the 1979 Boston Marathon for his 3rd win. They say if Bill Rogers weighs 128 pounds, he's 127 pounds of heart. Under 80-degree temperatures and high humidity in the 1978 New York City Marathon, Bill was challenged by Gary Bjorklund of Minnesota, a man who knew he could achieve greatness or die. Gary pushed Bill for 15 miles, but on First Avenue and then in Central Park, there was only one. In 1979, in New York, Bill is again king.
Oh, Bill Rogers. Bill Rogers has done it for the 4th consecutive year, and he did it in grand style and with confidence. He again proved he's the best marathoner in America, perhaps the best marathoner in the world. Bill's unofficial time was 2:11:42. That would be about a 5:02-mile average. He put 26 of those 5:02 miles together and again reigns as champion.
Out on the course, Leon leaves an aid station about 10 yards ahead of Todd and Melody. They have held a good pace for the first 20 miles, but now it's getting hot. Coming off 2 years of injuries, Olympic gold and silver medal winner Frank Shorter finishes in a strong 7th spot in 2:16:15. Kenny Moore had an off day and finished well in back of the leaders with a 2:25:13. In perhaps what was the most outstanding women's running performance of all time, 26-year-old Norwegian Greta Waitz won the women's division in 2 hours, 27 minutes, and 33 seconds, a 5:39 per mile average. She finished 11 minutes ahead of the next woman. Although not as fast as Greta, Melody had a great day.
It was a remarkable performance on virtually no mileage. She ran 3:11. I think she was in top 50 women. And, she looked a little away. She said she didn't feel smooth the last couple miles.
It was fun. I did it. That's what counts. I ran a marathon, and that's what I want to do.
Okay.
I'm really glad I ran with someone because they helped me make, I had water all the time, and more water than I've ever had in my life.
What do you think?
The Big Apple. We did it. We actually ran 28 miles, dodging around people.
The people were great. That's what was really fantastic.
Fantastic.
I feel fresh as a daisy. Fresh as a rose. I want to go another 26. I am not tired. Do I look tired?
I thought it'd be really exciting to see how people look when they finish after 26 miles.